Hello there, and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we're going to be taking a look at Thrawn's Revenge Imperial Civil War 2.3 with the news post on our Corporate Sector Authority heroes. So as always, if you prefer the text version of this news post, there's going to be a link to that in the description on our website or on Mod Database. But soon we'll also have another full news post with an overview of 2.3's changes, as well as the testing information. So how we're going to run the betas. The betas will be run out of our Discord server, though. There's a link to that in the description as well. And we'll have more specific information on that when it's time. We also have some extra channels on the Discord there, where we give weekly progress reports and show off some extra goodies, so check that out if you'd like. But making a fleshed out hero roster is always a bit more difficult for more obscure factions like the CSA, which you may not be super familiar with. But we feel we've made a decently diverse one for them. You can see the 9 in the corner here. Before we get into the hero breakdown, though, we're also changing how we handle hero icons a bit. In the past, we've tried to use icons from official images, but that means certain heroes don't have an image at all. Or we have clashing art styles. You can kind of see like the comic book art style here. And then there's some like movie characters where you end up with like actual pictures of actual people. So in order to help make this all a lot more consistent, our resident concept artist, Valerie, has therefore started a project to do hand-drawn portraits of as many heroes as possible. The first set that is getting this done is the CSA. You can see in the top row, everyone except for this one, Viola, is a new portrait, and then also in the bottom right, Daggerfaster is as well. So there's still, I think that leaves, yep, there's only 3 more CSA ones to be done, and then it's going to be spread out into some of the other factions as well. Again, we want to get as many of these done as possible. Sorry, but I guess we'll get into the 9 heroes that the CSA has. It's also possible in the future we'll be giving the faction more heroes. Again, it's a fairly limited, or it's a faction with fairly limited exposure in Legends, so there's only so many characters we have to work with. We tried to focus more on the military side of it. There are a lot of other economic heroes they could have, but we'll make more determinations for that in the future when we have a better idea of what the faction needs. So first off, here we have Captain Angela Kryn. She is a space hero with an Invincible class heavy cruiser, which are, I guess I'll have to go to, where is our shipyard? Here we go. Invincible class cruisers are right there. The large tubular guys. She was a capable captain who gained her position after the successful enforcement of a quarantine on Andregrad and the command of operations against a Hutt named Mika Angelic Chiera. Second, we have a former Imperial Admiral, Jonah Grumby, who was named after Jonas Grumby from Gilligan's Island or something? Yeah, anyways. He was a former Imperial captain who had served a long and decorated career in the Navy. He was seriously injured at the Battle of Ogoth Tyr against Separatist holdouts and rendered unable to walk, forcing him into an early retirement. He believed he was still a capable commander, and the CSA did as well, so Grumby was granted a position with them in the Picket Fleet, where he again served with distinction and worked his way to the rank of Admiral. Next up, we have Baruch Sloan, who is this comic book looking guy right here. He is one of the 3 that doesn't have a proper icon yet, and Grumby has a Bulwark 3 battlecruiser, Nitropus. Baruch Sloan has a VSD called Enforce. He is not someone that there's a bunch of information on, just a human male. He sees the Kalinda system for the CSA after Endor. That's about the only information that's available on him. And then finally for space we have Oral Lockerbie, the second of the heroes who does not have their portrait done just yet. Right now, Oral Lockerbie is in a Prey Bird squadron in space, based on the fact that I think he was a fighter pilot earlier on, about 19 BBY, so that could be upgraded for him to a capital ship, because they don't really have many of those either. 19 years is a long time for someone to get promoted, but he was a long-time veteran of the CSA Navy who had served since at least 19 BBY, which is about when the Clone Wars ended, and accompanied Angela Kryn and the Resolute in the enforcement of the quarantine on Andregad. So that's it for their space-only heroes. We're going to move to looking at their economic heroes next. So first off, we have Carrick Flim, a economic hero. He was a Vice Prex which is a rank, fairly high up rank within the CSA. A lot of people who work for the CSA tended to work for different corporations, which were sort of like signatories to the CSA or member companies, but Carrick Flim, as a Vice Prex, was working directly for the CSA. He is a character that shows up in, I believe, Star Wars Galaxies. So this is one of the kind of cool things about doing the portraits this way, where you can just, if you look on Wikipedia, you can see what his character model looked in that game, and have a more updated, fleshed out version of that is definitely, well, at least interesting for me. But next up we have Fiola, or Harten Parn Gora Fiola of Lord, was a CSA executive who differed from others within the CSA through her idealistic nature. She was briefly involved with Han Solo and also helped stop a slavery ring on Bonadan. So she is also economic. And then finally we have our last economic hero, Ajuman here, who was a sector manager for the CSA of the Tynan species. In the humanocentric CSA, Ajuman had to develop a separate persona to hide his true identity. Like Fiola, Ajuman was actually quite kind-hearted, which is rare, as I said, for ranking CSA members. So these are our 3 galactic heroes. You have, again, Carrick Flim, Fiola, and Ajuman. Our last 2 here are going to be our ground heroes. So these are, we have an infantry hero, which is Jor Neeler. Basically, the only thing that is ever said about him is that he was an ESPO, which is the Corporate Sector Security Police. So that's all I can really say about that there. Then we have Daka Fasser, who was a lieutenant in the ESPO Security Police. She served on the capital of Eddy 4, and in combat she has a Strikebreaker, which is one of the best CSA ground units. I'll see if we have one built already. It doesn't look like we do. But if I can find one for you there. There we go, Strikebreakers. So that's going to do it for our look at the CSA heroes again here. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you're looking forward to the release of 2.3. Like I said, there's going to be another more in-depth 2.3 news post coming, which will cover everything that we've done for 2.3. So a broad overview with that, as well as the testing process. But again, if you want weekly updates on what's going on with all 3 of our mods, Ascendancy, Fall of the Republic, and Imperial Civil War, and eventually Legends of the Vong War, that is all on our Discord page. We also have mod database, but for the more minute weekly changes that happen, Discord's the place to go for that. That's also where the beta is going to be run. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this look at the CSA, and I will see you next time. Bye.